Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we will cover the problem of getting the documents, the right documents for the application for Italian citizenship Jure Sanguinis. It's very important to make a clear video of what documents do you need for the process. As always, do not lose any more time and let's start. Talking about the documents required for the process of Italian citizenship Jure Sanguinis, Italian Dual Citizenship by descent. Of course, when you want to file an application, what is really important is to be able to show your bloodline. This is really important because sometimes we receive some questions about the so-called DNA test. You cannot just file an application by sharing the fact that you have an Italian heritage because you took a DNA test online or through other website or through other means. I mean, the fact that you have a DNA test that says you are Italian for 60% of your blood, okay, can be interesting, but it's not an official way to prove your Italian heritage. The law doesn't say that you need to show DNA test. You need to show documentation, formal documentation, that shows that you have an Italian ancestor and you have an unbroken bloodline from that Italian ancestor to you. So, what do you have to do? Well, you need first of all to get all the right information about the Italian ancestor. So it's very important if you don't know anything about your Italian ancestor to maybe hire a genealogist. You can have a genealogist, so a professional that is able to make researches through the archives, through the documentation, and they are able to find out, for example, that your father was born in this village in Italy, he took a ship, he landed in Louisiana in the US, for example. So they are able to rebuild what happened in the past. And in this way, you can also check exactly all the dates, the place of birth, I mean, all the information you need. Because after that, you need to collect, order the documentation. For the process, you need to show all the official documentation from Italy and from the foreign government to, clarify what happened. From the Italian ancestor, you will need the Italian birth certificate. You need to show that your Italian ancestor was named as Giovanni Rossi, for example. Giovanni Rossi was born in Naples in 1874, just an example. You need to show that with documentation. After that, you need to show what happened to him. Did he immigrate to the US? Okay, what happened there? Did he naturalize? Did he took American citizenship? Or did he remain an alien immigrant for the entire life? So you need, from the foreign government, to show that if there was a change of citizenship. So you need to obtain a so-called certificate of naturalization or any other document showing the naturalization records. From the census records, you can ask, this is of course the official things to do, you can ask the local government to provide some official documentation of naturalization, or if a naturalization never happened, you need a letter confirming that they have no records of naturalization. So your Italian ancestor never naturalized. Then you need to show the marriage certificate. What happened? Did he marry? What happened? Did he form a family? So marriage certificate. And then what happened? He had a child. He had a son or daughter, maybe so for example your grandmother or grandfather. They had a child and was born there. So you need the birth certificate of the child. And so on. This is actually the step-by-step process for each generation, assuming that you're starting, for example, from your great-grandparents. You need for great-grandparents everything, all the vital records, birth certificate, marriage certificate, naturalization or non-naturalization records, and that certificate. Then you go one step forward, grandparents. For example, grandfather, the son of the Italian ancestor, so grandfather, birth certificate, marriage certificate, and that certificate if applicable. Then another step forward, we are going closer to you, your father or mother. So birth certificate, marriage certificate, that certificate if applicable. And then you, the last steps of the chain, because the bloodline, you need to think of the bloodline like a chain. So step by step, you need to touch each generation up to you. You are the main applicant, you and your children or other family members, other siblings that wants to join with the process. So we need to start from the Italian ancestor to you, and only with official documentation released by your local government or many other local governments, because maybe your Italian ancestor was born in Italy, this is actually common. For example, he was born in Italy, then he went to Canada, he stayed in Canada, and then he went to the US. Then your Italian ancestor touched two countries. And so it's an additional complication because you need some documents showing that he never naturalized as a Canadian citizen, because so he came in the US as still an Italian because he never naturalized as a Canadian. And then what happened to US? So as you understand, there is not a specific closed list of documents. The documentation list, a checklist of documents that we provide to each client is a case-by-case basis. Each client has his or her story, his or her family heritage, which is different case by case. So it's important at the same time, of course, to have a really qualified professional, so an immigration attorney with expertise on Italian citizenship by the sent application, because each case is different. Even the consulates, they provide a checklist, but the checklist is pretty general, because if you had the experience to apply with the consulate and you went to the consulate appointment with the list of documents they indicated on the website, maybe the consular clerk will say to you, well, no, this document is not enough, I want something more. And you can say, well, it was not listed on the website. Doesn't matter. So it's very important to not think that the application is a closed list of documents. You can have a 1940 case, or you need to apply using another ancestor for some reason. So there are many legal complications into the process, and that's why since the beginning it's very important to make a really deep consultation on the case, to check your situation, to check your complication, to check all the pitfalls, any complication your case can have in the future. Maybe we can use another bloodline which has more chance of success than another bloodline if you have multiple ancestors. So, I mean, you understand the process is very complex since the beginning. If you have other questions, something you want to ask, you can always feel free to send comment, make a comment here below. We always say that we cannot do consultation on YouTube and on social medias in general. So if you have specific questions, something you want to ask, or you want an analysis of your case, you need to write to us on the website. There's a contact section of the website, so a contact form. You can just send us your inquiry, and then, or maybe it's better, you can book also a consultation call. If you want a direct call with us, so you can have a consultation call, and so we can talk face by face with you with a video call, for example, and better analyze your case, talk with you, we can know each other, and so better analyze your case and all the details of the case. As always, thank you so much for your time, and see you on the next videos.